My name is Jennie Guy. I'm an artist and a curator working in Dublin, Ireland. My workshop for Tabakalera introduced my approach to researching and activating sites of production. With this focus on activating sites of production in mind, we developed the core of the workshop at Tabakalera around a recent project that I launched this summer, working in collaboration with the artist Stina Marie Jacobson. Stina and I invited a wide selection of artists from around the world to give us artists' exercises, concise, transportable strategies, tactics and actions that artists use to activate collaborative processes and working situations. These exercises are presented via a simple website to be shared, restaged and reworked in different contexts. All of these exercises can be found at www.artistexercises.org. I introduced artist exercises to the workshop participants, and together we enacted several of these exercises in different locations around the building. We tried to become the people who frequent the building in order to get to know it, to sense its potential, and to reimagine how we might program activities to attract new audiences. At first we explored the building and its surroundings in small teams, working to develop site surveys, to force ourselves to slowly observe the building's architecture and the patterns of its use. Working through some of these exercises, we stage actions throughout the building, simultaneously occupying the role of artists and audience, producers and observers. To rehearse how it might feel to work in the building, we restaged an exercise titled Newspapers by the artist Juan Pedro Fabra Gambarena. We bought 2 copies of a local newspaper and splayed them out in a prominent entryway, exposing every page in a grid, presenting those entering the building with a neat exposition of the current day, as mediated by the graphics, imagery and headlines of the paper. Exploding this familiar object in this unfamiliar format in an unusual setting provided a starting point for feeling what it is like to work in public, and to follow through with a process that does not have a certain outcome or reaction that can be anticipated at the outset. After Newspapers, we decided to rework the artists Annie Sprinkles and Elizabeth Stevens' exercise, 25 Ways to Make Love to the Earth, into a new exercise called 9 Ways to Make Love to Tabakalera. We each developed site-specific interventions in the building, discovering its nooks and crannies, working on stairways, elevators, landings, balconies, and discovering the dynamics of the semi-public spaces that really constitute the experiential space of the building. As we presented our exercises to each other visitors in Tabakalera became involved, creating a real sense of feedback. Working in isolation, planning workshops on paper and never spending time out in the space in which you are working, you never get a sense of this energy and potential. Putting ourselves in this position, as fragile as it was my priority. For me, working with the workshop participants to audition these exercises and to explore such an amazing active space was a productive form of research. Working independently, I rely on my own instincts to move quickly, to keep my projects live, current and agile, because I've experienced that young people who participate in these projects respond so positively to this kind of energy, to the real working personalities of artists. Moving this quickly is absolutely necessary, so taking this moment to carefully discuss these projects and working methods with the group at Tabakalera was a great learning experience for me. The participants each brought focused insight and expertise into the group discussions, allowing us to imagine bringing some of the workshop's methodologies into different working contexts, thinking about how they would work, what problems might emerge, and how to best mediate these open outcome situations in respect to different audiences and communities. Based on our discussions, I sense that some of the independent, agile energy that we mobilised through enacting these exercises together might trickle back into their working practices. To conclude the workshop, We worked as a group to perform the exercise that I submitted to Artist Exercises, titled Book Drop. Inspired by a scene from Truffaut's version of Fahrenheit 451, we each purchased books in San Sebastian, gathered them together in a sack, and proceeded to drop the sack off a 4-story landing in the middle of Tabakalera. Watching our chosen books falling to an uncertain impact produced a tangible energy within the group, like we were separating from a part of ourselves. After the impact, the books remained for the evening, thrown across the ground in the middle of the building. On returning the next day, I found a child working with the books as if they were blocks, creating a playful new architecture on the ground. The books were intact and as if nothing had happened to them. For me, this framed the workshop perfectly. When we are generous and invite people into open frameworks of production, we never know what will emerge. We need to trust in these moments and to prioritise chances to produce ongoing sequences of these openings, and not to be distracted by an urgent sense that we need to pursue distinct, premeditated outcomes.